I'm thrilled, and hopefully you're thrilled to hear from with regard to what they can contribute to our discussion about Hispanic Heritage Month. I'm really excited about being able to give them the stage to really share with you a little bit more about them personally. And maybe you've heard some of their names, some of them maybe you know well based on your involvement with them with USTA Texas. Others maybe you've heard of, but just never had the chance to meet and interact with. So they're awesome. I'm excited to have them. I will just go from my screen and go clockwise. First of which is Claudia Mullerup Madsen. She is a financial advisor for Morgan Stanley. But from a tennis perspective, she is the chair of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. I've gotten to know Claudia well. She has a passion for this area. She represents women, the Hispanic community, USTA Texas at a very high level. And we're excited to have Claudia. Claudia originates from Peru and will teach us a little bit about Peruvian culture, hopefully a little bit. Mario Santos. Mario has been a tennis player for 6 years. Has interned with SATA this summer, has been coaching tennis for 3 years. He goes to Texas A&M San Antonio, and he is also someone who I know will really make an impact on you from the standpoint of the impact he made on me and how he got my attention this summer. I was really impressed with his maturity, and I spoke to Nancy Alvarez before inviting Mario. Mario, you didn't know this, and I was like, I'm thinking about asking Mario to be on this panel. What do you think? She's like, yes, absolutely. He's awesome, and so I'm glad that you could join us, Mario. On my screen next is Tina Trevino. Tina is awesome, hailing down from Laredo, Texas. We're excited to have her as well. You can't think about and talk about Texas and Laredo without thinking about Tina and Dr. Alfredo Trevino. Am I right? Yes, yes. So she is all things. She bleeds tennis. She is a great representative of the sport, not only her community, but us as women, and her passion is really inspiring. So I've enjoyed getting to know Tina over the course of our time together as well. And last but certainly not least, Fernando Velasco. He's down on the bottom left-hand corner of my screen. Everyone knows him as the executive director for CATA, Capital Area Tennis Association. Where are you right now, Fernando? Because we know you're not in Austin. Oh, and you're on mute. That's still on mute. Any lip readers? No. Fernando, you're on mute, my friend. He's working on it. I'll keep bragging about him. There we go.
I'm at Lost Creek Country Club training a young girl. They came from New York, whose dad won the Little Mall when he was 9 and 10. Now his daughter qualified to come to play in the Nationals. Is it an incredible story? It's unbelievable. So good times.
That's the possibilities of tennis. Thank you for joining us too, Fernando. Fernando hails from Bolivia and has an amazing tennis story and journey. And I'm just going to start in with our youngest panelist. So Mario, tell us about your journey to tennis. Was it the first sport you ended up playing? Did you gravitate to it after playing some other sports? How did you get to where you are now as an old 22-year-old?
20-year-old.
20. You said that before, 20.
So actually, I used to live in Dallas, and then for 6 years, then we moved to actually Laredo, Texas, down south, and it was my freshman year of high school. I didn't know what to do. I was kind of like missing my friends. I didn't have like a group of friends that I can go to, so I was like, I need to do something. And then tennis always gravitated towards me. I was like, okay, if there's a sport that I'm gonna play, it's probably gonna be tennis. So I was like, let me just try it out. I like the fact that I wasn't that good at it at the start. You know, it's kind of hard. I was like, oh, this is not what I expected, but I kind of like that. So I kept at it. And then, yeah, I just continued tennis from there and fell in love with it. And yeah, it's great.
Claudia?
Well, I started playing really young. My father was the one who introduced us to tennis, and I was the one who gravitated to all kinds of sports. And I went through a period where I was playing lots of team sports, but I would always gravitate back to tennis. Then we moved to the United States, And the high schools that I went to didn't have a tennis team, or sorry, didn't have a softball and soccer team in those days. But they did have people trying out for the tennis team, and I joined and made it. But the biggest message about that is that I was able to transform myself from living abroad and coming to the United States and finding a place to belong, to feel included and find joy. And so that's what is a motivator for me today.
Fernando?
From Bolivia, right next to Peru. Okay, we share the Lake Titicaca. We got the Titi, they got the Caca. So, but anyway, I came to America the first time when I was 17 as an exchange student to Miles City, Montana. Went back to Bolivia, practiced on the clay courts, came back to America, ended up going to Eastern Illinois University, where Tony Romo graduated from. I graduated with soccer, gymnastics, and tennis. And then when I got a teaching job in Illinois, I became a tennis pro 50 years ago, and I've been doing that for all that time. And I have seen kids 8 years old to 80 years old, and incredible people that I get to meet, and everything that I have, both financially, economically, spiritual, has been because of the game of tennis. And I just love it. I love to be on the court anytime, and I never say no to anyone to get on the court. But it's a sport of a lifetime. So continue educating and continue producing it.
Miss Tina? Oh, you're on mute, Miss Tina.
I got it.
Gotcha.
Good morning, all. I first want to say that I am touched. I know you all, but I don't know you all. And I am so delighted. You are all from countries that I am passionate about. And we had the opportunity to visit in our time of travel. So I'm so excited. And Mario, you and I have to figure out what in the world, were you with Oscar Gutierrez?
Yes, it was.
Oh, I will tell him. Your last name, sweetheart?
Santos.
Santos. Okay, Mario. Well, I probably met you, but you know, we were developing. So I apologize if I didn't interact with you, but I'd love to interact with you now. I come back home and I've got a job for you. So nonetheless, first of all, I'm Tina Trevino. I'm married to Dr. Alfredo Trevino, who was the first Hispanic USTA Texas president. We found that to be quite outstanding and crazy, but thank goodness the wonderful, wonderful people on the board, Carol Walder, and now I've gone blank again on. He's passed. He was the executive director of USTA, and then also very active. It'll come back to me. That's what happens when you get old. You forget the names. They decided that we needed to get involved. Doc and I moved to Laredo in 78. I had been playing passionate tennis. He and I both started quite late, about 46 years ago in 76. Walked on the court at T-Bar M. Clarence Mabry looked at me, and I had a racket with the plastic still on it. And he said, well, step one, take the plastic off. And he began teaching me, and that's how I began tennis. And I fell in love with it, came home, told Al and all of my neighbors. We were all in the Air Force at the time, or all of the neighborhood were families of Air Force physicians, actually. And I said, I've got this sport. We all have got to do it. And we did. And it was just the most awesome. Well, you can hear it in my voice. I love it. It's right here in my heart. And it's right here in my mind. My back does not go for it. So I don't physically play it. I haven't played it for many, many years, at least 20 plus years. But I play it here and I play it here. So it knocks me out. We've had the pleasure of volunteering as coaches for San Agustin for 15 years. And just a news flash, Dr. T, now that he has retired, has been asked to go back to San Agustin and teach the beginners part of the team, which is fabulous. He loves it, and it's great for him as well. So that's a good thing. We did not get involved with USTA until our family was named USTA Texas Family of the Year in 2000, maybe 2001, 2002. And we just did what we did because we love tennis. And that's basically what we were doing in Laredo. Since then, we've grown. We walk into a room and the first thing anyone says is, "What about tennis? What do you need for tennis?" So I'm the new logo, basically. And I'm happy to say we have 18 courts coming up. Hopefully, it was supposed to be January, then it was February, now it's April. At the City of Laredo and TAMU tennis courts. So we have taken off. Laredo has taken off. Mario, you've got to come back. And I need some coaches, sweetheart. I need an executive director. I know where to find you.
Absolutely.
We've got Nancy Alvarez on. Nancy was Mario's intern supervisor in San Antonio. So, Nancy, I don't know how you feel. Tina's trying to recruit one of your staff members, but obviously it's nice to feel wanted, Mario. You got a lot of talent.
I was very lucky to nab him when he came to San Antonio. He's a very busy kid. Plus, he has all his college courses and everything. So right now I have a tennis on the go. We're coming to a little charter school, and he's one of my coaches. So I'm sitting here with outside. We just set up, and so I'm like, okay, Mario would be here, but he's a great kid and has done a really good job. He just does everything for me. So yeah, you can't nab him, Tina. Can't nab him. So
if you got the right price, baby, we could do it.
And we also had another in our NJTL summer from Laredo. Oh my God, Mario, Hines, Emily Hines also had.
Oh, Emily.
She's also here, and she helped us in the summer as well from Laredo. So
we have trained them well. What can I say?
Yes, very good. Yeah, very fortunate, and thank you very much.
I also want to welcome Jackie Payne. Jackie's joining us. Thank you for being a part of this panel event, Jackie, and for listening in. Happy to have you. So, to any of our
thank you. It's great to hear all these wonderful stories and see all these great faces. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
So to any of our panelists who want to start us off, so all of you come from communities, Laredo, San Antonio, Houston, obviously here in Austin, with very heavy Hispanic populations, certainly across our state. But I'd love for you to share with us what you've observed and what you've witnessed and experienced with regard to the growth of the Hispanic community in the sport of tennis. And anyone who wants to start.
I would love to, primarily because I'm probably the oldest one and then some. But I don't know how old you are in Austin, but I feel like I'm grandmother tennis. But I have something to share that is an interesting. I reflect back on this. I was in Leadership Texas in 1986, the very first second class of Leadership Texas for women. And we learned different things. And one thing I learned that I was just totally wiped out about is in the 80s, early 80s, Mario, you weren't even thought about. But in that time, the research was, and it was stated by a legislator, that by the year 2000, which I thought was 100,000 years away, Hispanics in Texas would either be the second highest or the highest ethnic population of Texas. And here we are. I think what you're seeing in front of us addresses that. And there are different personalities to different Texas Hispanics. I love the fact we have Peru. God, I have such beautiful, wonderful memories of Peru and Bolivia, and that just makes up this caldo of vegetables, of all of the flavors, of all of the fruits, and you put that in, and you mix that caldo with the tennis racket, and oh my God, what do we have? Success.
Thank you for that, Tina. Anyone want to comment on that question? What have you observed, witnessed, experienced in terms of the growth of tennis in the Hispanic community?
I would like to add in at this point, yes, moving to the United States and having played in high school and then taking breaks and coming back and kind of going through the whole experience and relationship to tennis all the time, I'm noticing that the Hispanic community is more and more in front and participating, right? And what I'm also happy to see is that the kind of people who are participating, young professionals, young people who with great new aspirations, technology, the ability to play, because we've become so much more mobile in our world, right? We're not only having to sit behind a desk, so to speak, and more representation. And I think that one of the things, though, I'll say for the Hispanic or Spanish-speaking communities is that we also need to be sensitive that sometimes when we are together, we speak just our language and we exclude people, and it happens vice versa. And I think that one of the sensitivities that I want to share with a lot of my Spanish-speaking friends and vice versa is recognizing that tennis is a universal language, and being inclusive in that. Yes, the foursome that's on the court or the two is share one language, but the people around may not necessarily, right? And I think practicing inclusivity is such an important part of our day-to-day practice on and off the tennis court. So, but yes, I'm really happy to see how much tennis has grown, seeing women participating in tennis, and sharing, the greatness and the joy that tennis brings.
Thank you, Claudia. Fernando?
Yeah, I lived 3 years in Boca Raton, Florida, and it was amazing the number of people from the Hispanic community that were involved in the game of tennis. If you didn't speak Spanish in the Miami area, even Fort Lauderdale, I mean, you couldn't take a tennis lesson. I mean, it was flooded with people from Latin America, South America, Mexico to come there. I think we have to do a good job here in Texas to reach out to the Hispanic community by reaching out in their middle schools, high schools, and park districts to encourage them to join the tennis programs. And we'll be there to help any way we can.
Thank you, Fernando. Anything to add, Mario? And it's okay if you don't have anything, my friend.
Oh yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Mario does a good job. He goes to one of our Southwest Legacy schools, one of our adopt schools, and that's, probably a 95% Hispanic community. So I think we're doing our best, like reaching out to a lot of Hispanic communities, and Mario's a big part of that because he always wants to go and reach out to those communities. Like the little school we're going to right now is a Lighthouse, a little charter school. We're starting it today, like a tennis on the. We're coming here and working with their K-5, and it's a primarily all Hispanic little population in this school, and not one of them, they've never been introduced to tennis, so it's a great opportunity for us to introduce and kind of get this ball rolling in this area of town, and kind of try to build that. And I think I have good helpers like Mario, and I have Marlon. I mean, they've really kind of stepped in there and really helped in kind of building that and making that a green light in San Antonio for us. And so that, and so we're trying to, we've worked with San Antonio ISD, and but we have to go through all this paperwork first, and they're so slow. But we're working on trying to do an after school program with our SAISD, which is a primarily Hispanic district, in 2 areas of town. So it's working, it's going, and Mario knows how much we try to make it a run, and he's a big part of that, because he likes getting out there and getting his hands dirty.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. I love what the quote that Claudia said, like tennis is an international language. I think that really resonated with me because, my freshman year of high school was like, okay, just moved in. What I don't have the sense of community within my school. So tennis was that for me in high school. So I went into the team, and then I got to meet amazing people. My grades got better, so I was like, okay, this is a positive thing that I need to like continue with my life, and which is really really nice. I came from, so I was born in Laredo, went back to Mexico, lived there until I was 7, and then I moved back to Laredo and then to Dallas. So going from Mexico to Dallas, it was like a huge shift in like language, and just like
Oh yeah.
there's that missing of like community, or like, okay, this is, I'm safe here. And I lacked that for a little bit, not gonna lie. And then of course you grow up, you learn, and then I see tennis as that, as like a gateway to a community that accepts just anyone who's willing to go into it. And I'm seeing, like Nancy said, like we are working with like a lot of groups. Thursdays we have like a community where we teach just anyone who wants to come in with kids, and I love working with kids because I just like, I see them, what like I see me within them, like just like, hey, like this is a great thing for you. And I just love seeing kids come into the whole tennis community in Southwest Legacy. It is mostly Hispanics, and which is like, we have a really fun time. I go and help them, coach them, and for me, my goal for the young people and like for the high schools that I coach is like, I want to make it a safe space for them. And yeah, it's been great. It's been great.
Thank you, Mario. Ms. Tina?
I was just overwhelmed by Mario. I just feel that what we need to also be aware of is that again, Claudia, your statement of inclusion, but there's multiple ethnicities, and also just the underserved in general. And I think, I know, and as you know, Mario, also anything south of Saunders in Laredo, where Wendy's is, right on Saunders, the big street. Okay, anything south of Saunders is our underserved area. Underserved doesn't nationally mean that it is low socioeconomic. However, to some degree it was, the further south you go. It means it's truly underserved. And I think we as tennis players need to touch those individuals and put a racket in their hand to give them the opportunity. Just like Mario, he was looking for a safe place. And really, when he got a racket in his hand, he got a tool. And I love Mario, what you say, because you are the underlying mission, in my opinion, the underlying mission of USTA and USTA Texas, grow the game inclusively, Claudia, and across the board. And I think having Mario, gosh, God sent us. Thank you, Nancy, for supporting him. coming, because I think I love seeing this picture. We have the core. We have the core in our stomach. This is our core, and we can use it, and we got to make it stronger so it survives and goes forward.
Thank you for that, Tina. I've got plenty of questions, but I want to open the floor up to our staff for any questions or comments that they have. This is about us, and so I want to make sure that you have the opportunity to ask any questions or comments that you might have. Okay, the floor is back to being with me. I got it. All right, so staff, using the raise hand icon, please use the icon if you've ever visited Mexico, Peru, or Bolivia. Let's visually get that up. Okay, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, Peru. All right, Peru, Mexico, and Bolivia. Okay, I love it. That's awesome. All right, so my question for any of the panelists who want to get us started is, tell us about the culture, the food, the people in your country. Tell us about, for those of us who may not have been to your specific country, tell us something that we should know to really appreciate, brag on them, wherever you want to start. We're going to start with you, Fernando.
Well, our famous food, it was salteñas. It's a pastry like empanada, which is only made in Bolivia, different from Mexico, different from Argentina, different from Peru and Chile. And it was kind of founded by the Incas. And it's a pastry that basically is about this big. And Houston, he has a lady from Cochabamba that makes them. And every time I go to Houston to play in a tournament, we go and buy 100 frozen salteñas. We bring them to Austin. We share them with my kids and my grandkids, and they just absolutely love it. So our specialty would be the salteñas from Bolivia. But again, when we were in Bolivia, whatever was on the table, baby, you ate it. You didn't ask, okay? if it was brains, or if it was this, or it was that, you just didn't question. You just ate it, and you were lucky to be able to have a food in your mouth and enjoy it and not be finicky about it.
Claudia?
Okay, so Peru. So Peru is on the west side of South America. What many people don't realize is there's a very cold current that runs along from the North Pole that runs along the coast of Peru. And so we have extremely high quality fish. So, and the other side about Peru is that since we're on the Pacific side of the South American continent, is that we have a very large Asian experience or immigration in Peru. And so Peruvian food is a combination of our Spanish heritage, our Inca heritage, and of course, what are the natural resources of our country. And with the Asian influence, many of our foods have this combination of mixtures of Castilian, local flavor, and Asian flavor. So one of the dishes that you would, everyone always talks about a Peruvian ceviche, but something that's very unique is called chifa. And chifa is Peruvian Asian. With a very, and where, like, for example, in California, you have American Chinese food. Well, in Peru, chifa is Peruvian Chinese food. And the flavors are very unique. You won't find them anywhere else in the world. So if ever you're at any kind of restaurant where you see the word chifa, you'll know its origin. And I think you should try it. And I think you'll really, really like it. And you're going to get addicted.
Miss Tina?
I got so involved in that. What was the question?
So
I'm over here thinking about all the wonderful food I had eaten over there. So pardon me. I'm sorry.
No, you're totally fine. Ainsley, one of our staff, said, I'm officially starving. So go one in the lunch after this. So tell us about the Mexican heritage, the culture, the people, the food. Like,
Oh, wow. The
engage
Mexican culture. The Mexican culture is the mixture of Fernando and Claudia. You know, it's and Julio. It's and Mario. It's this molcajete of spices. And I'm sitting here going, okay, Chifa, what's in it? Which fish? I grew up in Galveston. Al said he'd never bring me to Laredo. And here I sit 48 years later, you know, and there's no water except the Rio Grande. But I love the seafood, Claudia. So I can't wait to go find Chifa. But I think what we have in food can be wrapped up in anything with great spicing. Cominos, cilantro, avocado, garlic and onions and peppers and every kind of pepper and all kinds of different things. And you put that in a molcajete. Do you guys know what the molcajete is? It's a volcanic rock that is like a mortar and pestle. And it is so important to our lives. I don't know, Claudia, Fernando, do you guys use that as well? Yes? Yes? Because that gets handed down from generation to generation. And I mean, there are some who say my great grandmother had this. I didn't know my grandparents, but I have my mom's, and my kids are over there dying. Who gets it? And when I gone, baby, you guys figure it out. But that molcajete is important. Pardon me?
It lasts. It lasts a lifetime. I mean, like lifetimes. You know, it just
absolutely. And all of the spices, the spices from my mother are still in there.
In it,
you know, and I'm adding more to it. And listening to this, wouldn't it be nice, Julio? You're not doing anything. Wouldn't it be nice if we had next year for Hispanic Heritage Month this huge tournament somewhere, or all of us in our CTAs had something gathering, bringing together the inclusive, and not just, we'll celebrate Hispanic, but the inclusiveness of all the diversities in their foods. Have those little taster things. Get with the city. I can see this working. Get with the city and playing a tennis round robin or whatever you guys do. You professional guys know how to manage people. And I think that'd be great. Wouldn't that be fun? I've already got it decorated. I know exactly what to do. A piñata, a tennis piñata a donde quiere. Wow, we're in great places.
Tina, Tina, it's Julio. When you said that we're all gonna bring our own particular dishes and share it, Fernando started to cry. He doesn't want to share it though. He buy 100.
I have a great ensalantrada that my mother-in-law made. I do not cook Mexican food well, but my mother-in-law, and I figured out that God would not have put me in Laredo, Texas with Mrs. Trevino, who was the world's most wonderful cook, and all of these Mexican restaurants if he wanted me to get in there and compete. So I didn't. So she taught me 3 items, and I'm really good at those.
There you go. There you go. Mario, anything to add?
Oh yes, actually my mom, she has her molcajete. She has it. It's gonna be passed to me because so I'm gonna get that.
Yes, that's important.
But yes, she had it from her mom. So my mom is actually from Acapulco, so Acapulco, Mexico. So she's way south of Mexico, and my dad is from Nuevo Laredo, so that's like across Laredo, Texas. So I've lived in Acapulco. I've lived in Monterrey, Mexico. I've lived in Nuevo Laredo before I was 7, of course. I still visit them, but yeah, it's just amazing. It's amazing seeing the different culture from Acapulco to Nuevo Laredo. Like in Acapulco, my grandpa, he would eat white rice and milk, not sugar, just white rice and milk, or white rice and like black beans with like queso fresco or something like
See.
that. And then you go up north and it's more a little different. So yeah, it's just great, a great country, very diverse. Yeah.
Jean, you had a comment?
Yes, it is.
No. Okay. Fernando, floor is yours, mi amigo.
It would be incredible. And the next time we have a convention together again, instead of having a casino night and all that, to have an international flavor night. That people come in with their flags from every country represented,
Oh, I love that.
and then be able to have a dish, or just, we are so internationally a community, not only from South America, from all over the world. Man, I mean, the PTR every year they have the parade of flags, and we have 100 countries, 50 countries, 60 countries represented. We go in there with our flags. We take a picture with Trevino, whoever the USTA president is, and I mean, that is the most incredible thing that happens. At the little mall, they're going to have the same thing this afternoon. They're going to have the parade of flags. Again, the people are going to come, if they come from another country or they come from another city, they're doing the same thing. We need to be represented, not only just Hispanic, but from all over the world, being multicultural and environment in the game of tennis.
Mrs. T? You're on mute again, Mrs. T.
I just wanted to let you know I'm bragging. I just found out last night one of our little girls, who is probably in the beginning of high school, maybe a freshman, sophomore, has just been invited to Little Mo for tomorrow. And that for Laredo is outstanding because we've never had one. And by the way, Mario, it's Raul Ramos's daughter, Brianna. I don't know if you remember Raul at Market Street Tennis Court. He's he works for Park and Rec. So just a little brag.
What
I'm
age
sorry?
you playing? What age division?
Good question. If I knew what grade she's in, I would think 15, 16.
They got 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12.
Okay, so there must be 12. It could be his younger daughter instead of his older daughter. He has 2 daughters.
Raul
Ramos,
Ramos, not Raul. Raul Ramos.
Okay, we reached the lightning round.
Thank you, Fernando, for my class.
We've reached the lightning round of our time together. We're inching towards the finish line. So in 30 seconds or less, and we have had mention of Julio and our other staff member Edgar, who we also want to raise up during Hispanic Heritage Month. So for all 6 of you, 30 seconds or less, what do you love most about tennis? Claudia, we're going to start with you.
I love the inclusivity. I love the fact that it's limitless. I love the ability that I remember as a child loving the play so much that just playing in the cul-de-sac with an old tennis racket and an old tennis ball with my neighbors was probably one of my fondest memories. Then I learned to play inside the lines. But we need to learn it's okay to play outside the lines. So inclusivity is number 1.
Inclusivity. Mario, what do you love most about tennis?
I love the community sense of it, but I also love the sort of gateway that it takes you, kind of therapeutic. It's a physical, one mental sport. So kind of like, for me, it grounds me a lot. So like, if I'm like thinking too much, if I'm just way too much in my head, I love just to play some tennis and just kind of wind down. So I just love that. I love that.
It's a good distraction.
Yes.
Love it. Edgar.
All right. What I really love about tennis is the doors that it has opened. As a young kid, there's 2 types of Mexican families. You have the ones with a huge family, that's insane, or you have the very small, very well kept together, you're not going anywhere, you're 24, get in here type of family. And that was a little more of that one. So the doors that opened after I went away to college and the pathways it's led to, that's what I really love about tennis.
Thank you, Edgar. Julio?
The pathway. I am tennis. I fell in love with it at 6 or 7 when I first started hitting a ball. And I can't remember, I mean, I then was involved as a player for many years. Then I became a coach for many years too. And now I'm still involved with it. It's almost like that bad weed in my backyard that I just can't cut off and kill. It doesn't matter how bad, how upset I may get at times. It pulls me right back in. My engagement with it, I owe to it who I am today, and probably what I'm going to be known as the legacy that I left behind will probably be all those individuals that I dealt with and was involved with through the sport of tennis. So no, it's me. I am tennis. There's no other way that I can say it.
Thank you. Very well said. Mrs. Trevino.
I love the fact that I love the players. I love the ability tennis gives to have the opportunity to give to others. I love the fact that God has chosen us to be the givers and to open up doors for adaptive, for stroke, for blind, for down, for autistic. Never would that have been done previously. And for able-bodied. And I love to watch the able-bodied interact and come together with the adaptive. And tennis does it all.
Yes, it does. Fernando?
It's life. We learn everything about life on the tennis court, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Being able to adapt and to move forward and be able to share our experiences on the court and off the court. We are representatives both on the court and off the court. Continue promoting, continue talking to the parents, continue educating them that this is just a sport, and the education and the ability to be able to maintain their composure, whether the child is winning or losing, is a part of life learning experience.
Thank you so much, Fernando. Thank you to all of our panelists. Thank you, Julio and Edgar, for sharing as well. I want to give Jackie or Van a minute if either of you had anything you wanted to say before we closed out.
Jackie, I'll start. This was just phenomenal. It's fun to have the back and forth and all the funny comments over on the side, which is a good way to connect. But just to hear these great stories, and I think with everybody, when y'all throwing ideas out, our minds just start to go, well, gee, that's what if this, what if that, and it starts to percolate some new things that maybe we could include in what we do and how we can connect at the local level. So really appreciate everybody's time and thank you for the openness and the sharing. It's very important for all of us, and we all, as you can tell just from the laughing and the camaraderie that we just had for the last 45 minutes, it's fun. It's good for all of us. So thank you.
I echo those comments and just thank everyone for their participation. And again, I love how we cross so many areas and the desire for us to be inclusive. And, that touches every one of us. And it touches all of our efforts in growing the game, is to be inclusive and thoughtful and have this kind of rapport with everyone that we have the opportunity to touch. And with that said, in addition to all that we learned about one another and some greater bonds that we've developed, I love eating. And so I learned a lot of new things today, and I plan to go to Round Rock. Not sure I could make guacamole like many of you, and I'm not sure I've ever tried chifa. but I'll darn sure be trying it somewhere. And so look what I've learned today. We're never too old to learn. And that's the beauty of an opportunity like this. Even though we're not in person, look what we've achieved today via a virtual meeting. And I thank you, Erica, for putting it together. Thank you, Mario, Tina, Claudia, Fernando, for participating. And then thanks to our staff, Edgar, Julio, but all the staff. Thank you, guys. And I'll end with that. Back to you, Erica.
Well, I will end us with that. I don't think there's anything better I could say based on in comparison to Van and Jackie. So thank you all for your time. We did record this so we can capture all of those great ideas, and certainly we'll be sharing this on a greater level with the larger USTA Texas family. So have a great weekend, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us today.